I certainly think that these concepts appear in the Bible, but not in those words. So, for example, Genesis talks about all the animals being created each according to their kind. That is, basically the word nature, right? So, dogs are one kind of thing, cats are one kind of thing, human beings are one kind of thing. So, there's the idea that each thing has its own proper being, it has its own proper essence or nature. There's a certain way that it is, it has boundaries. Human beings can learn language, cats cannot. Dogs can do certain things, fish cannot, right? So everything has its own proper boundaries, its own possibilities of being, and it's not another kind of thing. So I'm a human being, I'm not a fish. A cat is not a dog, a horse is not a bear, and so on. So these concepts do appear in the Bible. And the concept of person is just the concept of an individual. I think the Bible, it has a clear notion of the individual. For example, the prophet Ezekiel, when he says that a person will not be punished for the sins of the fathers, but each person will die for his own sin. There, it seems to me, is precisely this concept of person. It's the concept of an individual who is not someone else, who stands out, who is unique, who can be uniquely addressed, who is uniquely responsible for his or her own life. The concept of person, the concept of being, these concepts are certainly in the Bible. They appear in the Bible. But the question is, does the Bible discourse about Christ and about the Father and the Holy Spirit as though these were three persons with one being, or about Christ as if he were a single person with two ways of being? That's where the rubber hits the road. I do not think that the Bible talks about Christ as though he were a single person in two natures. I think rather it talks about him as though he were a single person in one nature, but with a special calling from God. So there are things that normally would be impossible for him that are made possible because of the role that he plays in God's providence. God especially empowers him to do various things. By nature, he's a human being, but by God's empowerment and by God's grace, he has the ability to do typically divine things. And so you can say that he shares in the divine being in this derivative sense, but not by becoming God. He remains a human being. He's only a human being by nature, but God empowers him and makes use of him in a certain way. So that's what I would say in brief. I would say that the concepts of person and being are present in the Bible. It doesn't use those words exactly. The concepts themselves are there, but I do not think that the way that the Bible talks about Christ in relation to God suggests that he is a single person in two natures, or that God is one person in three being, or one being in three persons, or anything like that.